in studio, Glenn, and
Wow.
you were listening on the way. You said from Saskatoon.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot. You got experience with Brooks and Dunn. That's where we're going to start. You've seen them live. Top shelf.
First of all, I'm listening in to the number ones at one.
Colin.
Yeah, with Colin. And also, beautiful, great. The old stuff playing through there, too. Loved it. And then the show comes on, and you guys start talking about Brooks and Dunn. Well, I saw Brooks and Dunn a couple of times. Once in Las Vegas when they were there, doing their residency there.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we went to the songs, and I'm thinking, well, Brand New Man, big hit for me. That was number one for me. I mean, for sure. And my son being in Nashville and playing the honky tonks, he would always play the newer stuff because he liked that better. And so I would always try to pull him back to like the Garth Brooks and the Brooks and Dunn stuff. And so I had to actually pay in the tip jar when he was playing in the honky tonks
Sucked you in.
to get a request from my own son to say, hey, give me a little Brooks and Dunn. And he would always defer to Brand New Man. So I think that's why it's embedded in my head that is my favorite song. First of all, Ronnie Dunn, man, like best singer in country music, like best vocalist in country music. I like I Just Believe, or whatever that's called.
The song that doesn't really have a title, but everybody kind of knows what it is.
So I love that one. And when Ronnie Dunn did his solo album, or I don't know how many he's done, but one of the ones he did, Cost of Living, is a fantastic song. The vocal in that is outstanding. Another ballad. And if we ever get in the kitchen, Barney, with the guitar, I'm bringing out Cost of Living, Ronnie Dunn.
Well, then we got to sit in the same kitchen because then allegedly Sharky can sing Believe or whatever he's talking of.
That's a big song, Sharky. Man, I hear you. That's a big vocal
Sharky
song.
said he could play it. He said he wouldn't sing it. He said he could play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need a singer for that one.
Sharky, come
Bring
on.
your son in. Hey, bring your son in.
My son can do it. Yeah, my son can.
We should. He should play that Pepsi stage at one of the Rider games.
Oh, that'd be.
Or get him to play the Party in the Park.
I'll take care of the travel. Let's get him in here.
It was in hour one that Trisha mentioned that Lost and Found and Neon Moon, and then she said she definitely can two-step. Here's a hidden gem from Tanya. Whiskey Under the Bridge.
Oh,
that might have been the one that I was thinking of that I couldn't spit out in hour one. Damn good song from Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah.
So I know legally you can't do this because of the YouTube thing, but you need 5-10 seconds right now to kind of chime everybody's memory to what
Prime the pump.
what it is, right? Yeah.
Of I Just Believe? Or
That's right.
936-6262 if you want to get in on the Brooks and Dunn chat. And then the one though that I play something country. Does Kix Brooks sing that one actually too? That one should be punted.
Kix Brooks would be fun around a campfire, I think. He'd be fun. I mean, I bet you he's telling the jokes in between songs and stuff, telling the stories.
He's the entertainer.
Yeah, and then he looks at Ronnie and cues him, and
he'd be shot guy.
Yeah.
He'd be the guy that he made Jello shots, and he keeps going around the campfire with Jello shots. That guy or girl.
Yeah.
So, Barney, you probably or might not, maybe you did, maybe you didn't know this, but when you mentioned Suits was coming in studio, I remember there was some times when I was with the Jets in Nashville that you were down there visiting your son, so we'd catch up at the odd place, or you'd hear stories of kind of where everybody was back and forth. So for the fact that this is the number one country music station in Saskatchewan, Rider legend, all adding into each other, give us some Nashville stories from when you've been down there. Like, have you run across some of these big names? Like, who have you had a chance to kind of rub shoulders with down there?
Well, I was down there, but I'm dad, right? So when I'm dad in Nashville, it's a completely different thing. I was down there for some of their country festivals.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they put the big stage down at the bottom of Broadway. And then they have another stage at the top of Broadway, and every honky-tonk. And since I've been there, it's been a few years now, but since I've been there, there's so many more. I mean, Garth Brooks has one, and all the big names really have a honky-tonk on Broadway or around Broadway. And those big bands, like when they were out there, I mean, the guys were out there. Blake Shelton and the Brooks and Dunn, and they were playing, and you could see the biggest names in country music all in about 2 blocks during the festival. During that time, I'm sitting in a honky-tonk called Legends Corner, which is right across from the hockey arena.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's kitty corner.
Yeah, right across. And we went to Preds games all the time, by the way. It was excellent because he had a college deal, so we got real cheap tickets. And how about having a marketing edge when you're a Predators PR person? You make a call, and Tim McGraw plays in between the first and second period. I mean, that's not fair. But I was in the honky-tonk listening to my son sing Brand New Man when Brooks and Dunn were outside on the street singing Brand New Man. That was weird.
That's pretty cool, though.
They weren't singing together, but he just happened to be playing the song, and they're outside, and my buddies are going, let's go watch Brooks and Dunn, and I'm dad, so I'm going, no, I'd rather hear my son's version of it.
Yeah. When you were in you too, when you were calling games there, did you ever go to Robert's Western World? It's the one, it's next to Tootsie's. It's old school, and they have the grill and the bologna sandwiches. At midnight, when you're just absolutely buckled, and they start making bologna sandwiches, and it's like, just throw it in my veins.
Wow, that whole thing, like all the way from Bridgestone Arena down across the bridge now where the Titans, the NFL team, are. Then how about the Predators this week announced they're spending close to $1 billion with renovations to Bridgestone Arena. They're putting the hotel in there. They're doing the whole ball of wax to the current, like close to it with a B. Close to $1 billion they're putting into that place.
Their marketing department, outstanding. My son got this college deal. He went to Belmont University, and he got this college deal. So they had him on their phone list, and they put my name on because Dad was paying, even though it was really discounted, but it was the college deal. I still get texts constantly from the Predators with updates on tickets, deals on tickets. Here's how you can get your tickets. Like, that was years ago. I mean, 5 or 6 years ago. They're still, and I won't unsubscribe because, get some concert breaks or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it'd be stupid.
Absolutely.
Why?
That's just business.
Take those emails forever.
Yeah, exactly.
What, to wrap the Brooks and Dunn, what was your favorite, again, Munsey, from hour one?
Brand New Man.
Brand New Man.
Another vote, yeah.
And then for some, all good.
My Maria's in there, like it's kind of one of those.
Now you're going to listen to the end of My Maria, and it's going to annoy you. Watch, I tell you, he just keeps saying the same thing over and over. My Next Broken Heart, awesome song. That Whiskey Under the Bridge, Tanya said, that's a good one. But That Ain't No Way to Go, could be mine. Lipstick Letter Across the Mirror This Morning, Said Goodbye Baby, You Left Without Warning, Like a Thief in the Night, You Ran Away with My Heart.
Oh,
like that poor guy.
I need a tissue.
How do you bounce back from that? Let's move on to the CFL and the CFL draft and the Dogs Breakfast. Dogs Breakfast. Luke Wilson on the show yesterday with Maz and Dave. Awesome segment.
Yeah.
Great interview. What was he like as the guest speaker?
He was outstanding. And he got up there with Coach Flory, and they did some film work, too. So they're watching highlights from the Super Bowl where they blew out Denver, that game. Mm-hmm. And they also got to the Marshawn Lynch 1-yard line. But he tells a great story, and I'll give you the sort of the Cole's notes of it. But he tells a story about John Ryan, who was their punter at the time. And they had that fake against, they had practiced all week against the Packers in the playoff game. They had the fake field goal.
Yep.
So I guess they were calling that fake field goal because it's 2 Canadians. Luke Wilson was actually supposed to be the number 1 target on the fake field goal. So John Ryan was supposed to take the snap, roll out, and throw it to Luke. Unless the defense shifted, then he goes the opposite direction to an offensive lineman who is now eligible playing on the outside. So he's telling this story, and he goes, because we were Canadians, the coach in the locker room says, you know what we're going to call this? We're going to call this play the Pam Anderson. So they're all excited because it's going to be Canadian throwing to Canadian in a big play in this playoff game. So they call the Pam Anderson, and he comes into the huddle and he says, "It's Pam Anderson. It's Pam Anderson." And then the defense shifts, and Luke Wilson said, "I don't know if I was more excited about that we were running this play and it was such a big play in the game with the touchdown, or that it didn't actually come to me because I was so pumped up about running the Pam Anderson." He tells the story way better, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I love it. That's just such a good. I'm just watching the video. I had my volume up. Sorry, everybody, because I remember that play. Because Green Bay was supposed to be the team playing the Patriots in that Super Bowl. They played that shootout at Lambeau on a Sunday night a month before, and it was Brady, Rodgers, back, forth, snip, snap, snip. And then Seattle pulled it out.
Yeah.
And then it was showdown in Arizona. Patriots win. Malcolm Butler.
He also told a real quick one, too, on the Marshawn Lynch play on the 1 yard line or whatever, the 2 yard line, whatever it was. And he was saying he thought that talent-wise, the Seahawks were better the next year than they were in the first two, including the game that they beat Denver. He thought from a talent perspective, they were better in that third year and that they should have gone back for a third straight year. And he said that one play, that one call where they didn't go to Marshawn Lynch and they threw for an interception against the Patriots, that, he said, blew up our locker room. He said we became an individual sort of setup in the locker room because of that call. He thinks that call was the reason that team kind of just disappeared after that.
I've never hugged somebody that I don't know, a male, longer and harder than when
the interception.
when we were listening, because we were in the top deck.
Oh, you were there.
You could kind of see it from the far end, and we had the earpiece in because they give you to listen to the feed of the game. It's quite great. And it was like, back to pass. It's intercepted.
Yeah.
And we both, and he was from El Paso, Texas. He was probably 280, 6'4".
So you weren't touching hands on the other side of that hug.
He grabbed me like I was a little teddy bear. And he were just like, yeah, we don't know each other, but man, did we hug it out.
So Luke says on that play, he was running a corner route on the opposite side of the field. He says he thinks he was the only guy who didn't know it was intercepted right away in North America, probably, because we all saw it on TV. You saw it live. He had his back to it because he was running a corner route. So he said, I didn't even know what happened except Packer fans were going nuts. or Patriot fans. Yes, Patriot fans.
Let's go to the draft, and we've been talking about it today. People, 936-6262. If you got questions for Glenn, Curtis Rourke in the third round for the Riders. I love the pick.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, any other sort of long shot draft pick, to me, I wouldn't do it. Like if it was a linebacker or a receiver, and you thought we're not probably gonna see him for 2 or 3 years because he got drafted in the NFL. So let's see how that goes. I probably wouldn't use the pick that early or at all if it was that kind of player or that kind of position. But for a Canadian quarterback with his resume in college football, the fact that his brother is a starting quarterback in the CFL in Nathan, I think it was absolutely a good pick to go number 3. In fact, I thought a team may have taken him higher.
Really?
I really did because of Nathan. And let me give you a quick scenario of what could happen here. And this happens more than you think. He goes down there. Now, he's a draft pick, not a walk-on or not a free agent. So that changes things because they protect their scouting staffs. So if you're drafted, you're at least a year for sure. You're going to be there a year.
Automatic.
Yeah. And they're going to give you some money up front. So they don't want to lose on that investment. However, it only takes sort of American coach to say, you know, you're a Canadian kid, you're okay, you'll do a couple reps at the end of practice, maybe you play scout team against the D, but we're gonna play these other 3 guys ahead of you in practice. So his reps get limited. And I'm just giving you a scenario that the Riders could see him possibly sooner than you think. Now, I don't think it'll be in a year. because he was drafted. But because of that reason, because of his brother being in the league, because of what he's done in college football, I think he's worth a third round. In fact, I might have thought of him higher than that. And you mentioned, Barney, on the way in, on the drive, I was listening in, that he probably sparked the next quarterback draft. The next Elgersma, thank you. Yeah.
That triggered that pick.
It
next
probably
round.
triggered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the teams are probably playing their cards close to their chest vest region.
How long will it last? Could we get to the 6th round? Yeah.
We're taking him at 5.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No. And then all of a sudden the Riders take him and it's like,
Wow, let's
blow
get
that
him.
up.
Yeah. And Zach Collaros is not a young man anymore. Good player, but not a young man.
And Elgersma probably could play as it stands right now if it's a video game, and because he's not drafted.
Yeah.
Or he could play earlier.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, and again, he's going to get more than Rourke. He's going to get that sort of, I'll say, Canadian bias or.
For sure.
He's going to get more of that than Curtis Rourke, because they're going to say, well, he's the Canadian kid, and that's happened more than you think to a lot of guys. I mean, I've had many a conversation with players that I know from a talent perspective could play down there, that went down for a tryout and didn't make it because they just didn't get enough reps to prove what they could do.
Colson?
Elgersma went in round 2. He went before Rourke. Just one thing
Did he?
clear up there. Yeah, he was the 18th pick.
It was after.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was. He was.
Yeah,
ahead
Curtis
of it.
was after.
Yeah, okay.
And then he did. Elgersma didn't go in the NFL, which
That's right.
that
yeah.
7th, 8th. It was like, well, yeah.
So either way, though, that pick probably maybe
triggered the Riders.
Triggered the Riders
Yeah,
to go
because
and
the Riders
get Rourke.
didn't have a 2nd round pick, so
Yeah, either way, you look at that, one going first, but yeah, that triggered each other, because I'm sure the teams were trying to extend that as long as they could, because for me, the number one philosophy would be the guys I draft I want to see in training camp, because they can help you. They can help you with depth, they can help you with special teams, so get them to training camp. I think you make an exception for a Canadian quarterback with both of those guys' resumes and abilities.
Suits for everybody that's kind of gearing up for training camp, because now we're kind of within days of whether you're going into Saskatoon or Winnipeg or Vancouver, or Toronto, wherever it may be. What's it like for these guys now as they start? How much depth chart looking is there by all the players to say, okay, this is maybe where I fit in, maybe where I don't, to then having kind of the realization of what the management's looking at?
Yeah, I think for the most part, guys aren't really looking at the depth chart much. I mean, the veterans who are the starters, the incumbents, they're not going to worry too much about that. They're sort of looking at getting a real fast start. I mean, I at times, I think we've moved beyond the Ray Elgard rule. I used to call it the Ray Elgard rule, because he would practice for 3 days in training camp and then all of a sudden have a tweak, like his back or his hamstring, or there'd be a tweak and he'd miss a week. Now, back then there was a month of two-a-days, so I didn't really blame him. But he would have a mysterious injury that was very hard to diagnose, but kept him out of practice for about a week, and then he'd be back. But he had to establish himself in those first 3 or 4 games or practices, days of training camp. He had to show that he was back in shape, he was back ready. I mean, you still have to earn your job as a veteran, but I don't think there's much depth chart looking or reading into it. If you're drafted or if you sign as a free agent, you're in camp. Now you want to get as many reps as you can, even if it's special teams work or whatever. If they say, does anyone here hold on field goals, or can they cover kicks or whatever?
Sing brand new man.
You sing brand new man in the kitchen. Man, put your hand up. Put your hand up quick and get in that rep, because you never know. You never know what rep it is where the coach goes, hey, what about that guy? He looked pretty good there. Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever happened, and Munsey, even going back to the days that your stations up north would cover the Huskies as well, where the Riders snagged 2 U of Saskatchewan kids
Yeah.
to U of S Huskies in Weeb and Hundaby.
Yeah. Well, Seth, I presented him with an award, the Glen Suitor Team First Award, which is given every year to one of the Huskies, and
That's because of your work in the Cayman Islands.
I shouldn't have told you guys this story out there about the Cayman Islands, but but good kids. I mean, Seth talked at the end of he represented the team and stepped up at the end of the Dogs Breakfast and addressed the crowd, over 1,400 people. That's not easy to do for those young men, and he was fantastic. He looks like he's ready to get to camp. I know he has one more year, and then he's going to get there. And Jeremy O'Day said he's looking at the Husky program because his priority in the draft is character people. He said that's the first thing we're looking at, because the ability is there for all the guys you're looking at. You've got your whole board, and they all have talent. But he said, I want those high character guys. So that's where it starts. That's what Scott Flory's doing up in Saskatoon. He's building that type. Great leadership between BT previously and Coach Flory now. I mean, those are leaders of men, and those kids are coming out better people out of the program, whether they get drafted or not. But these are two good picks, and the riders are looking for it. This is not a pick just for marketing. These guys are players that they expect to be starters very quickly.
Maybe outside of just the draft itself, and you are on the voice of the riders right now, but who do you like going into this year team-wise? Like, I know you're obviously doing a lot of prep getting ready for the TSN schedule again this year, but just based on organizations from last year to this year and kind of how things have played out during the winter, you got some favorites coming into 25 here?
Well, when you're doing that, I think you look at the quarterback position. I think Nathan Rourke is going to be back. I think we're going to see his form again. It was an up and down season for him in BC. I'd like to see him back with that. He was jumping off the page. I mean, he looked as good as I've seen any young quarterback any side of the border in a long, long time. I've been covered a lot of games. His quick release, his ability to read defenses and get the ball out with accuracy was excellent. Now, when he went down with his tryout, that kind of disrupted it. They've got a new quarterback in Montreal. I will have to wait and see. I like the Riders because I think Corey Mace is building from the line of scrimmage out, and I think that's the way to go. I think you win games there if they can protect Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris will be the MOP in the league, and the Riders will be in the Grey Cup. They got to protect him, and that's what I think the priority is for Corey Mace. He's looking at this line of scrimmage. But having said all of that, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are the big dog on the porch, and until you knock them off, it's still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that are a favorite.
That's as close as we're ever going to get to a Suitor prediction. All we had to do was bring him in studio, right? It was announced today. This is really cool as well. The University of Regina Rams head coach Mark McConkey announced that Jaden Marwick has been named the team's new offensive coordinator. Obviously, Donnelly promoted to the Riders. Locally, he's part of that team now. It's just where this, and Munzie, this, being a Humboldt guy, you've seen the guys go through there, like football in Saskatchewan. You saw it today, Glenn, and I know it comes across kind of cheesy sometimes where it's like, oh, Saskatchewan, all that. But per capita, like, it means so much here, and we're damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is, and I mentioned that in the breakfast this morning to the fans, and how I'm inspired every early May when I get to the Dogs Breakfast by just the unwavering passion for football that this province has. And honestly, I'm not overstating to say that they have saved the game at times with their enthusiasm, with their excitement, and how much they love not just football in general, because I know there's a lot of NFL fans here, and I said today, that's okay. Let's not make it one or the other. Let's stop doing that. If you're doing that, stop it. Because you don't have to. You can have your favorite team down south, and you can have your favorite team in the CFL. So, yeah, but the fans here, I mean, they were sort of, I've been there 20 years now, or over 20 years. And so a lot of people were coming up to say hi and things. And I would say, you guys think that I'm helping. I think that you're inspiring me to be more enthusiastic again, to get back going, and to get ready for a new football season coming up. You guys are driving it because you always have. And that's at all levels, too. And that's why I think flag football is going to be central to Saskatchewan. Like, we may see Football Canada do something in Saskatchewan with flag football. Mm-hmm. Maybe some offices, things like that, to make this sort of a central hub for flag because it's so popular here. And that's going to just keep growing the game, too. So, way to go, fans. I mean, it's funny because we feel like it is cheesy, right, Barney? You feel like, I don't know, should we be saying that there are all these great, but it truly is. It truly is. And now, attendance at games is one thing, and we got to fill up Mosaic again. And I said at the end of the breakfast, and I'll say it again, if you go to a CFL game, if you go to a Rams game or a Huskies game, you will be entertained because our rules allow for the best chance of a finish in the final 3 minutes. The other thing that is certain that you won't have is a tariff. So enjoy the CFL football.
Oh, elbows up dance. If you want to look like a real weirdo, just get that thing going. Sorry, go ahead, Munzie.
How's that schedule look, Suits? Have you gone through it yet? When do you get busy?
Well, I'm doing the opener here in Saskatchewan, so Barney and I are going to be fighting over a meeting time with the new commissioner because he's already said he wants to bend Barney's ear on flag football and things like that here, which I think is excellent.
Let's get a kitchen,
yeah.
A couple of guitars, some beers, and some Western pizza. That's how we get it done.
Now, gentlemen, before we go, I brought back some. You guys know I was in Europe, and I went to St. Andrews, and I brought back a little trinket here.
No,
now, I made a bit of an assumption because I guess I thought, when I get this, how much is Barney actually on the green? He must he must eventually get to the green, right? Like, eventually he gets there. I don't know how many strokes it takes to get there, but this is a St. Andrews ball marker.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. And
You're watching the stream.
Yes. And so now you got to get on the green to use that. So
yeah. So you know why this, thank you so much. Very appreciative, thoughtful by you, is I lost mine.
Oh, good timing.
I didn't have the one that the
Pops
magnet
out.
in.
Yeah.
So I just had a little one like that, and I don't know where it is. So
there you go.
That will
St.
look
Andrew,
good
man.
at the lake this summer, eh?
at the Humboldt tournament.
Anywhere.
So do me a favor, though. When you pick that up off the green, please don't be putting like an 8 or 9 on your card after you walk back to your bag.
Well, that happens. I can't guarantee. There's some snowmen out there. Some Mike Medanos.
You can't tell us you played without telling us how you played.
I broke even. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if the course is with no out of bounds, that's my kind of track. So you're in town till when?
Yeah, leaving Saturday morning. Gonna meet with some friends in the next day or two. Might go to the rider office again just to sit with Craig. Had a good talk with Craig at the breakfast. Craig Reynolds, and want to sit with Jeremy O'Day and have a discussion with him too. And boy, Corey Mace he's a favorite. I got to say, I'm not allowed to cheer for teams, but I can cheer for people, and I think Corey Mace, they've got the right guy in charge.
Tomorrow's a big day. Rider fans out there, single game tickets go on sale 10 a.m. Wide range of ticket packages. This includes the Labor Day Classic, and I like that. What is it? The watermelon package, where it's the home opener and Labor Day. Together.
Nice.
You get in for it. It's like very reasonable. No tariffs there as well.
And we'll see about Brooks and Dunn at halftime. No. Well.
Let's go.
Don't start something you can't finish there.
So, what was the last one we got that texted in? Cowgirls don't cry, and the cowboy rides away.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Cowgirls don't cry. That's with Reba.
Yeah.
That tugs at the heart for all the dads out there. I'm taking my daughter to Nitty Gritty Dirt Band tonight.
Oh, fishing in the dark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Dance Little Jean.
Oh, yeah.
Hey? Oh, I remember my dad cooking bacon to that on a Sunday morning.
We got to get to the kitchen, man. We got to get there.
It will.
Get a guitar.
It's going to happen. Suits, thanks so much for coming in live.
Oh, this is great. This is great. And I can see who really runs the show over here, too. It's those guys over on the other side.
They're actually playing online gaming. They're just clicking a lot of buttons. Sounds like they're doing a lot. Glen Suitor, and as always, for our friends at Bronco Plumbing and Heating, professional service is guaranteed every time. They're going to treat you right. 781-2090. I should have got you to do that, Reed.
Oh, well, next time. We'll do it.
We'll do it. You'll be here all summer.
Yeah.
And in the kitchen.
And the opener.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go to break. Sports Cage streaming at sportscage.com and on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Count of 3.